top cars that wish to be planes. There won't be any flying cars, but we can pretend with these. To be daring and aerodynamic, many car designs have taken inspiration from airplane designs. Some of these cars resemble planes so much that you might mistake them for taking off. Some car interiors give off the impression that they weren't designed with drivers in mind. Yes, an interior with a cockpit-like design. Even the steering wheel isn't circular like it should be. Anyone might start to wonder if these cars were created exclusively for pilots. So, let's get right into it and look at these vehicles that look like planes but cannot fly. Saab 9 3 Viggen. If you're in the market for a sports saloon but don't want to go down the BMW road, well, I have the very car for you, the new Saab 9-3 Viggen. The name means Thunderbolt in Swedish and refers to Saab's fighter aircraft, and for once the name is well earned. This new 9-3 is a blisteringly fast family car. For easier after-dark concentration, its oddball aerodynamic cars had night panel buttons that dimmed everything inside except the speedometer. And why did some basic executive cars acquire these features? Because Saab's parent company was a manufacturer of real jet fighters for the aerospace and defense industries. Spyker C-8 Aileron. Spyker is yet another company with a history in the manufacture of aircraft. The second-generation sports car from Spyker was inspired by the company's aviation history and takes design cues from second-generation aircraft propulsion, highlighting the numerous cockpit dials, the wheels that resemble propellers, the glassy canopy of the turbine blade, rather than the propeller that adorned many elements of the company's first-generation vehicles. This car has increased Spyker's appeal while maintaining the brand's exclusivity with its felt aerodynamics, long GT wheelbase, luxurious and spacious interior, and top-notch 6-speed automatic transmission. Morgan three-wheeler. Driving a Morgan three-wheeler is unlike anything else. It's a true grassroots car that returns to the fundamentals of what driving enjoyment is all about while showcasing striking aesthetics that no other vehicle at the moment can match. Quilted seats, a V-twin engine mounted up front, and instrumentation with an aeronautical style. Additionally, it's not just the RAF paint job. This car is essentially a Sopwith Camel with number plates because of the large engine in the front, the open cockpit, and even the tri-wheel setup. Chrysler Turbine Car. Put Chrysler Turbine Car into your preferred search engine and be amazed at the results. The Chrysler Typhoon, as the concept was known, was far from the only gas turbine car. The Chrysler is the coolest because the whole car was themed around the idea of the jet age, from the turbine-look headlight surrounds and transmission tunnel to the outrageous exhausts. Only 55 were built for a test program, and 9 survive today. It would run on petrol, tequila, or even perfume, apparently. The engine idled at 22,000 RPM, but barely made any noise when cruising. We josh about it never taking off, but we're above that. Lamborghini Egoista. The Lamborghini Egoista is here. Egoista literally translates to selfish in Italian, and it's clear why the designer Walter de Silva, former head of Volkswagen, said the Lamborghini Egoista is hedonism taken to the extreme. The car is a one-seater with fully removable canopy door modeled to look like a fighter jet. The car's exterior is even made with anti-radar material, keeping faithful to the aircraft inspiration. The bodywork for the Egoista boasts advanced aerodynamic panels that shift in height in relation to downforce and stability, packing a 592 horsepower V10. In 2013, Lamborghini built just one for itself as a 50th birthday gift. Mercedes CLR. Mercedes has a long history in motorsports. The German company has been operating for more than a century. The company first participated in the Grand Prix in 1923 with its teardrop-shaped Benz Strophenwagen, and in 1955 at Le Mans, a 300 SLR crashed into the stands. The Mercedes CLR, which appeared to behave more like an airplane than a car and dominated the FIA GT1 class in the 1990s, led to some interesting developments. As a result, it was flipped multiple times. Ford Mustang. The most recent Ford Mustang has a digital instrument display that features a variety of clever and attractive screen modes. Have you ever questioned why the 2015 Ford Mustang speedometer displays ground speed mph? The Ford Mustang was initially inspired by the P-51 Mustang, a World War II fighter plane, despite the fact that the badge and pony slang give the impression that it was named after the horse. It was designed to evoke the feeling of embracing the vast open country as you cross it. Designers drew inspiration from the plane for both the body and the cockpit. It was the aircraft that was originally named after the untamed Mustangs that roamed the American countryside. It was gorgeous, strong, fast, and nimble. Lamborghini Reventon. For decades, fighter jets have inspired car designers, with American designers becoming so obsessed with tailfins and jet engines that they put them on 1950s cars. The highly aerodynamic shapes at Lamborghini are clear evidence that the designers there were heavily influenced by jet fighters. The Reventon, which was unveiled 15 years ago, was an obvious example of this influence, and Lamborghini even acknowledged the aircraft that served as inspiration: the McDonnell Douglas F-15 Eagle. The sharp, angular form, particularly with the dark finish, was another thing that many people saw as being similar to the F-117 Brutus. Because Germany was not permitted to have aircraft after the First World War, many aircraft engines were available. This is what British motorsport fans have been waiting for. Brooklands, the world's oldest racetrack, featured two banked curves. It was an invitation to a performance. It was simple to mount an aircraft engine on an old chassis and race it. Because Brooklands had banked curves, brakes were not as important, so only a rear brake was the norm. The Brutus experimental vehicle is built on a chassis with a 1907 chain drive, which was previously used by American fire departments. This chassis was fitted with a 12-cylinder BMW aircraft engine with a cylinder capacity of nearly 47 liters from the First World War. A modern engine only requires about 4.0 liters to accomplish this. How did those planes from the 1920s get into the air? Chevrolet Murray. You may be puzzled by the name. Murray means future in Korean, but you're probably wondering when Chevy became Korean. Chevy did not. The car was created by the GM Advanced Design Studio in Korea, and thus the name reflects its Korean origin. The exterior is stunning with its sharp cuts and curves. You have legitimate cabin seats, similar to those found in the plane's business class. All of this is accompanied by a steering wheel reminiscent of those found in jets. The start button is also jet-inspired. It's a bold concept car. 1948 Buick Roadmaster Coupe. Look at the roof of this car. I'm guessing it was similar to the Camaro of the time. From the back window of this car, you can't see much. And there you were, thinking your Camaro had poor outward visibility. The Roadmaster was a beast, and Buick was important at the time. The styling of the car is not necessarily derived from any particular fighter jet, but the roofline styling and upper half styling can definitely attest to inspiration from the skies. I'm wondering how likely it is that you'll see one of these on the road nowadays.